Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Doctor Doom is Iron Man, as well as a couple other characters. So what's going on? I'm going to explain Infamous Iron Man #1 and how they're kind of splitting aspects of the Iron Man character across the Marvel Universe. So right now it just seems like everybody is borrowing stuff for Tony Stark. So Spider-Man has kind of taken over his role in the Marvel Universe as the wealthy industrialist who funds the Avengers and owns like a really giant cool building, has all the cool toys. The Riri Williams character is taking the name Ironheart, but she's taking over the Invincible Iron Man comic. So ostensibly Riri Williams is officially taking the Iron Man mantle, even though she's being called Ironheart. But she's going to be wearing the red armor, so Tony Stark picked her to kind of fill in for him while he was gone. But on the other side of the fence here, you have the infamous Iron Man, Doctor Doom, basically taking the mantle of Tony Stark of his own accord without Tony Stark's permission. That's why one of the most fun moments of this comic here is Doctor Doom opening Tony Stark's closet, so to speak, opening his armory, his most private area, and pillaging his toy box in a very Doctor Doom type way. If you remember the classic Civil War, like we have Civil War II right now, but the old Civil War after that, Norman Osborn kind of took over the Marvel Universe for a little while and pillaged Tony Stark's armor and used it to become the Iron Patriot. So this kind of reminded me of that, even though there's been a lot of stuff happening with the Doctor Doom character since the end of Secret Wars that makes it seem like he's turned over a new leaf. Even though there's a lot of classic Doctor Doom, I know best, I'm gonna do things my way kind of stuff going on here. So if you haven't been reading a lot of Doctor Doom-centric storylines, Secret Wars was just like very Doctor Doom-centric. So just to explain the Doctor Doom character a little bit, he's one of my favorite Marvel characters that I don't always read a lot of, but because of Secret Wars, he became one of the most important characters in the Marvel Universe for a little while. So you kind of have to imagine that Doctor Doom is a mix of Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Norman Osborn. So you have someone who's really evil and brilliant, someone who's a master of the mystic arts, in sort of the wealthy industrialist playboy persona. So it seems like what they're trying to do is make Doctor Doom cool again without making him outright evil, but he's still very much the classic Doctor Doom character. Like there was a teaser at the end of the new Avengers title where Doctor Doom is facing the new team saying, "You all work for me now." And it seems really evil, but really what's happened is Doctor Doom is carrying up Tony Stark's cause, trying to help the world, but doing it in a very Doctor Doom type way, which is kind of what he did during Secret Wars. So it's like a slightly less evil version of Secret Wars Doctor Doom. Very powerful. Like I love the way they put him against Iron Man earlier in the Invincible Iron Man title, where he basically just starts trolling Tony Stark, saying that he needs his help with something, but he's very confusing about it. Tony Stark eventually is just like, "Dude, why do you keep bothering me? What is it that you want from me?" And you never get a really good answer, but for all of his faults, Tony Stark uses his toys, his intellect to try and help the world. So it seems like that's what Doctor Doom is trying to do too. But as you can see, he does not ask for permission. He takes, because that's what Doctor Doom does. So they built sort of this Iron Man style team around him. You have the AI Tony Stark, which is like supposed to fully be his consciousness. So you really do have Tony Stark as like the new Jarvis, but then you have Amara, who's kind of like his Pepper Potts, albeit a slightly more scientific spin on Pepper Potts. Like she's not really his assistant. And then you have the rest of the Marvel Universe like Ben Grimm here, who's gonna be pounding the shit out of him. So even though it might seem like Doctor Doom is Iron Man, it's really just Doctor Doom in an Iron Man costume doing Iron Man things in a very Doctor Doom type way. So while it seems like he might be reformed, because if you haven't read Secret Wars, Doctor Doom gained the powers of the Beyonders, became the most powerful person in the Marvel Universe for a little while. It totally went to his head, did not go well, things fell apart. So that's probably what's going to happen again eventually. Eventually, Doctor Doom's hubris always brings him down. That's what I love about Doctor Doom. They can make him look like Vincent Cassell, make him seem so much cooler, have a really awesome love interest, update his armor, make him seem really awesome, but he himself is usually the person to bring it all crumbling down. Which is funny because that's also kind of an Iron Man thing too. Tony Stark is his own worst enemy too. The other big twist, remember Doctor Doom is a very magic-based character, 1 foot in the realm of science, 1 foot in the realm of magic, is that it seems like his mother is still alive and speaking to someone off of the page. So this is like the big magical part of the storyline. You have the more traditional tech-based Iron Man storyline stuff happening, but they haven't revealed what the magical side of this infamous Iron Man comic is going to be. So whereas earlier this year, right after Secret Wars, they did International Man of Mystery Iron Man, they're kind of doing the same thing with Doctor Doom now. But you guys let me know, like, what do you think about Vincent Cassel, Doctor Doom, International Iron Man of Mystery? I think the pitch is really interesting. It just depends on how much these storylines pay off, or if they know where they're going. But you can kind of see how they're rebooting the Doctor Doom character, trying to make him a little more complex, a little more sympathetic. They've almost infused a little bit of Loki's playfulness into him that wasn't there before. Like before, he was just really quiet and grumbled all the time. Right now, it seems like he walks around with almost like a wry smile, like he has a secret that nobody else knows about. But what's going to happen is because we still don't know what happened to Tony Stark, I'll do a video for Riri Williams taking the mantle next week after Invincible Iron Man #1 drops. That's when we're going to see her take the armor, so hopefully they'll explain what happened to Tony Stark at the end of Civil War, even though we still have 2 more issues of Civil War to get. Yay for comic book delays. But because I've been doing a lot more comic book centric videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video for Mini Batman versus Mini Superman next week sometime. They introduced the new John Kent Superboy to Damian Wayne. So I'll explain what's going on with that, but it's just like the greatest pitch ever. I saw this panel and I just thought, why is this not a TV show? Where is this TV show? So Mini Batman versus Mini Superman sometime next week. Be sure to subscribe to get that. This is one of the most fun titles that I read in the last week. And just to clarify too, I just posted a video about the new Avengers title. Spider-Man made a reference to Godspeed, a Flash character, because it's Mark Waid, Mark Waid, longtime Flash writer. And a lot of people seem to think that he was making fun of DC Comics. I was a little confused by that reaction. Comic book writers will reference stuff between Marvel and DC every once in a while, but for the most part, everybody's friends. Like Mark Waid still loves The Flash, so he's not going to try and say something hurtful about a DC comic book. But if you were confused, he was just making an offhanded reference, tongue-in-cheek reference to a Flash thing in the Avengers title. So I'll post a link to that at the end of this. New Walking Dead posting later tonight. While you guys wait for that, you can click here to learn about Mark Waid winking at the Flash in that Avengers title, and you can click here for my Doctor Strange review. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.
There are 2 types of beings in the universe.